Lucky in Long Island, written by Michelle Lynn, www.themichelleLynnbrand.com, www.silverlightsbooks.com. Act 1, Scene 1. Black screen, graphics. Summer of 1979, white font. During the beginning of the voiceover, the camera will show black and white historical pics of the Mafia, 1920s music-y, and film credits. Lucky voiceover. In the early 1930s, the notorious Charles Lucky Luciano established the modern American Mafia by creating the Commission. It was a governing body through which the five families could settle disputes together, forging truces that kept bloodshed to a minimum. Sure, there were mob hits, but the violence was kept to a minimum. My story started in the year of 1979, where I was one of the boys, apprenticing under the Giordano boss Carmine, known as Cutthroat Carmine. He was ruthless in getting what he wanted out of the neighborhood businesses, and merciless to anyone who was a rat. I remember the day like it was yesterday. It was like any other day. I would get off summer school, go home, tell my mother what she wanted to hear, and attempt to do schoolwork and help at home, and then try to sneak into the neighborhood restaurant in the early evening where all the mobsters would hang out and run their meetings. The camera shows Lucky as a young kid leaving summer school, going home, talking to his mom, and doing homework, and then sneaking out to the streets of Brooklyn by Frankie's Ristorante. Lucky is walking through the neighborhood and runs into Uncle Luigi. Uncle Luigi, late 40s. Male, Caucasian, 40s, Italian mobster, direct trained criminal, and a capo. 2. Uncle Luigi. Hey kid, Lucky kid, it's not what you think. Acting all defensive. Uncle Luigi, give me that. What have I told you about keeping that shit on you? It's poison, and you'll end up dead, or in the slammer, like your father. Lucky kid, Uncle L, I know better than to put that shit in my body. It's just a deal. Uncle Luigi, you have the rest of your life for deals. Remember, you are lucky. Live up to your nickname, Marco Marino. Don't fall beneath a wise guy. He takes the envelope with cocaine. I don't want to see you at the restaurant for a while. Mob hits are taking place all over, and it's too dangerous for you. I promised your father that I would watch out over you and your mother. Lucky kid, it won't happen again. Uncle Luigi, good. Get home because dinner will be cold. Act 1, Scene 2. Exterior restaurant patio. Black screen. Graphics, a deadly celebration. Lucky voiceover. Later that night, the dinner at Frankie's restaurant in Brooklyn would be colder than any dinner my mom would ever serve. The camera shows the restaurant and are the mobsters at the table. They are eating and conducting business. 3. Lucky voiceover. Conte. In the world of old-school Italians, business was always run at one Italian joint. There was always one woman up front as the cover. The camera shows the whole restaurant and the mobsters at a table. They are making a toast. There is a hostess named Maria at the front of the restaurant. Maria. Female, early 30s. Italian hostess. Speaks with an Italian accent. Carmine Giordano. Male, Caucasian, 50s. Crime mob boss for Brooklyn who gets killed with his bodyguard, and right-wing guy. Short, bald, and old. He is known as Cutthroat Carmine. Carmine Giordano. I want to make a toast to 10 new businesses coming aboard with the Giordano family. Everyone salute. Carmine Giordano. Now on to dead bodies. We have a few in the butcher's freezer that need to be dumped in the Atlantic. Uncle Luigi. There are enough dead bodies in the hole to fill our garbage route for an entire year. The Greco family is destroying our neighborhoods like bad weeds and killing off our wise guys like it's war. From out of nowhere, there are gunshots. The bodyguard and all the mobsters die except the hostess named Maria. Lucky voiceover. My Uncle Luigi never finished his last words that night. and his promise to look after us was broken. The two mobsters looked straight in Maria's eyes as they left the restaurant. The sirens could be heard in the background, and the police are coming onto scene. 4. Act 1, Scene 3, EXT Frankie's Restaurant Night, Lucky Voiceover. When there was a hit in the world of the American Mafia, it meant one of two things: run and hide, or flee the country on a one-way ticket. Detective Edward O'Brien comes in with his partner and notices that Maria is still alive and shaking. Detective Edward O'Brien. Male, Caucasian. Irish looks, honest, against the Mafia. Needs to play 55 to 65, young to old. Ava Marie's adopted dad. Supporting role: hostess Maria, female, 20s-30s Caucasian, Italian roots, young mother to baby, Ava Marie. She has a foreign accent from Italy. Detective Edward O'Brien. Are you okay? Hostess Maria. I need to get home to my baby. Detective Edward O'Brien. Ma'am, we need to take you into the station to fill out a report and then be placed into a witness protection program. Hostess Maria. My English is not good. I need to get home to my baby. I'm okay. Detective Edward O'Brien. Ma'am, you are dealing with dangerous people that will kill instantly. Do you understand that? Hostess Maria. I have to leave to get home. I didn't see anything. He hands her a card. Detective Edward O'Brien. If you change your mind, here is my contact. We protect people just like you. How many kids do you have? 5. Hostess Maria. Just my baby girl, Ava Marie. Detective Edward O'Brien. I can drive by and check on you in a few. Where do you live? Hostess Maria. I live on 8100. 14th Ave. Excuse me, my baby needs me. She takes off in a hurry. Act 1, Scene 4. In Maria's apartment. Maria is walking nervously into her apartment, and she sees her mum on the kitchen floor covered in blood, screams and then runs to the crib area, and the baby is crying, not hurt, and then she gets shot in the head. The camera direction goes with the voiceover below. Lucky voiceover. Later that night, Maria came home to a dead mother and a crying baby. She took a bullet like a trooper as she saw her baby girl, Ava Marie, one last time. Her last words were, Hostess Maria, I love you. Act 1, Scene 5. Next, Streets of Brooklyn. Night. The camera is going to show Detective O'Brien driving to Maria's address. He notices the broken window and glass from the outside. Goes with the voiceover below. Lucky voiceover. Shortly after that, Detective Edward O'Brien drove to Maria's house. Detective Edward O'Brien. I need backup to 8100 14th Street. There is a break-in. It relates to the Giordano shooting. He walks up to the apartment and gets his gun out. He kicks open the door and sees the grandma in the kitchen, on the floor with blood, and then hears the baby crying. 6. He goes to the baby's room with the gun and sees the dead body of Maria on the floor. He looks at the baby and hears the sirens in the background. The police and the ambulance arrive. His partner Tom O'Murphy comes in with the ambulance. Tom O'Murphy. Male, Caucasian, Irish, 30s-40s, NYC accent. Swears and tries to kick some sense into his partner. Tom O'Murphy, cops are here. Put your guns down. You're under arrest. Detective Edward O'Brien. Jackass, it's just me and Ava Marie. Tom O'Murphy. Ava Marie. Detective Edward O'Brien. The baby. Tom O'Murphy. She has to go to the hospital. Detective Edward O'Brien. Let me see if she has any relatives that we can call. Tom O'Murphy. If she doesn't, she will go into foster care. By the way, what's gotten into you? You're staring at the baby like it's your own. Detective Edward O'Brien. Mary and I always wanted a second. Act 1, Scene 6, Int. Hospital Night. The scenes show the detective waiting for baby Ava Marie to get checked by the doctor and social worker at the hospital. Lucky voiceover, there was a special connection from the start between baby Ava Marie and Detective Edward O'Brien. It was later found out that her relatives were all gone, and there was no trace of her real father on her birth certificate. More 7. Lucky voiceover. Conti. The only options remained was Detective O'Brien or foster care. Social worker, female, any race, mid-30s any race, serious and concerned. Social worker, she has no alive relatives, so that means she will go into the foster care. Mr. O'Brien, are you and your wife fine taking over guardianship? Detective Edward O'Brien. Yes, I already have a 2-year-old daughter. Social worker. Have you discussed this with your wife, Mr. O'Brien? Detective Edward O'Brien. She wants another one, just as much as I do, but because of the last birth being difficult on her body, she can't have a second. Social worker. Okay, I just need you to sign right here to get the process started. The camera shows him signing papers, and the social worker gives him the baby in the carrier with only a diaper bag as he heads to his car. Goes with the below voiceover. Lucky voiceover life would never be the same again for both Detective O'Brien, Ava Marie, and myself. Act 1, Scene 7. In Lucky's apartment in Brooklyn. Graphics, black screen. The next day, there is a knock on the door from Detective Edward O'Brien. Lucky's mom, female, Caucasian, 30, 40s, old-school Italian woman. Italian mannerisms, a bit of a worrier, and domesticated. She is in an apron when she answers the door. Needs to play 30-60. 8. Lucky's mom. Who is it? Detective Edward O'Brien. Detective Edward O'Brien with the 70th Precinct. She opens the door. Lucky's mom. Officer, how can I help you? Young Lucky comes right up behind his mom. Detective Edward O'Brien. Luigi Marino got killed yesterday. Do you have any idea who would do this? Lucky kid, it's the fucking Grecos. They put Pop in the slammer, and now they took Uncle L. Lucky's mom. Shh. Get to your room. Don't listen to his nonsense. He watches The Godfather religiously. So you see how his mind works. And I have no clue who would want to kill him. Detective Edward O'Brien. If anything changes, here is my card. I'm the lead detective on the case. Everyone died in the restaurant, except the hostess who got killed a few hours later in her own home. We are dealing with dangerous people. If you or your son know anything, please contact me. Lucky's mom will do, officer. She closes the door and heads towards the living room where the TV has a special news story about the mob hit. Lucky is watching it. The TV with the news reporter. 9. News reporter. TV. Breaking news is in. Last night in one of Brooklyn's premier restaurants, Frankie's Ristorante, a dinner celebration turned deadly as a waging war between the families of the American mafia continues. No one came out alive. If you know anything related to this shooting, please contact the 70th Precinct Station of Brooklyn with details. Lucky kid. Mom, why didn't you say something? Lucky's mom. Always keep your mouth shut. Never talk to cops. Just do me a favor, for God's sakes, stay away from those mob-run joints and focus on making something of yourself. Lucky. Act 1, Scene 8. XT, Las Vegas landscape. An int warehouse. Lucky voiceover. A few years after high school, I saved up enough money to move to Sin City. Soon enough, I settled in Las Vegas, and I found work with the Ricci crime family. I started working right under the head boss, Lorenzo Ricci. He took me in like his own. We bonded over the old neighborhood, culture, and he taught me the tricks of the trade when it came to drug trafficking. Over time, I started making a name for myself in the underground world of drug trafficking, and the head of the Mexican cartel, Hugo Ramirez, became a close contact. In just a few years, I was making a name for myself among drug trafficking by sending over 10, 14 kilos every 2 weeks from the border and back. 10. The camera is going to show a few scenes of the city of Las Vegas and Lucky in a meeting with Lorenzo Ricci, and then going to Mexico to meet with the head of the Mexican cartel, Hugo Ramirez. This is all going on with the above voiceover above. Lucky male, Caucasian, Italian, old-school mobster, sharp as nails, comical, and a ladies' man. He is always one step ahead of his enemies. At the core, he can be warm, but if someone betrays him, he won't hesitate and kill. Brooklyn accent, preferably, or NYC accent slightly, later a Russian accent at the end. Main star of the series. Lead role. Cut to the warehouse. The dialogue opens with Lorenzo, the mobsters and him, in a warehouse off the strip. Black screen, graphics, November 2009, in Las Vegas. 1 week before Thanksgiving. The camera opens in a big warehouse with bags of cocaine all over tables, guns, and tons of cash in the open. There are security guards in the warehouse as Lucky makes his way to Lorenzo. He is smoking a cigar and has a mobster hat on. He does a hand gesture, indicating that everything is good, and Lucky nods. Lorenzo Ricci, male, Caucasian, 60s, 70s, Italian mobster head of the West Coast mob. Robert De Niro looks. Crime boss, serious, ruthless, and doesn't trust many. Lorenzo Ricci. Did you take the back route? Lucky yes. Lorenzo Ricci, size. The feds just busted one of Hugo Ramirez guys. He was caught near the Arizona border with 20 kilos of coke. Just promise me, Lucky, you're always watching your back and you're not trusting anyone. 11. Lucky Lorenzo, I told you the only person who is helping me is Frankie. Fuckface. Lorenzo Ricci. You know his IQ is low. Seriously, Lucky, keep him on a short leash. If he learns to keep his mouth shut, his face wouldn't be so fucked up. Lucky boss, I have it under control. I'm set for the big drop-off for Thanksgiving. Speaking of Hugo Ramirez, he wants to increase to 100 kilos a month. He is paying off a few of the border agents to turn a blind eye. Lorenzo Ricci. Just promise me no fuck-ups. Get rid of fuckface while you're at it. Lucky. He knows too much, and he helps with my cover when I pass through the border. Lorenzo Ricci. Replace fuckface with a good fucking Latina. The ones with the real big booties, not the fake asses that jiggle. Lucky. I don't need to come before the job is done. I can come after with a fucking celebration. Lorenzo Ricci. You know a good fuck makes us mobsters quite powerful, especially before a drug deal. I command you to get laid before Turkey Day. Lucky, too risky. I don't need the fucking commotion. 12. Lorenzo Ricci. Good sex, a good whack, and good drug deal is a hell of a way to celebrate a holiday. By the way, I want you to do a background check on this accountant my nephew Nicholas just hired. He says, something is off with the guy. Apparently, he passes up paid pussy, won't touch blow, and doesn't say, fuck. The putz's name is Edward Sullivan II of Long Island. Lucky, anything else? Lorenzo Ricci. One last thing. Make sure you look everyone dead in their eyes, as I have told you before. The eyes can reveal a fugazi. Capiche? Lucky capiche. Lucy voiceover. Unfortunately, shortly after Lorenzo's advice, I fell for the fugazi bullshit. Camera shows him walking out of the industrial building and getting into a black SUV. AC 1, Scene 9. XT. Border of Mexico. America. Black screen, graphics. Thanksgiving Day, somewhere near the border of Mexico. Lucky is driving the convertible car with fuckface in the front seat. The car pulls up to a casita. There are Mexican cartel waiting with drugs. Fuckface waits in the car. Lucky walks into the casita cartel. Fuckface. Male, Caucasian, late 20s, greasy Italian, stupid, socially awkward, smoking obsessively, nervous, thin build. Supporting. Act 1, Scene 10. In Casita, in Mexico, Lucky Dinero. It's all in the suitcase. 13. The cartel guy opens the suitcase and counts the money. He looks up. Cartel guy 1. The blow is in the toys. When you get to the border, an agent will ask you the purpose of the trip. Just say that you were visiting Carlito's casita only if his name is Don, not Juan. If he says Juan, then say you're visiting your nephew. Lucky C. Cartel guy 2. When you arrive in Vegas at the warehouse, text Hugo Fiesta. Lucky C. Lucky takes the toys, walks out, and puts them in the trunk of car with other kid items. He gets back in the car, and they start driving to the border. XT, inside driving the car, fuckface. What took you so long? I thought you took a shit. Lucky, going over protocol. Fuckface. Listen up when we get to the border, just keep your mouth shut. There are 2 guys, Don and Juan. Just let me doing the talking. If Don talks to us, we are visiting Carlitos' casita. However, if Juan questions us, we are visiting my nephew. Capiche? Fuck face. Yeah, Lucky. Yeah, what, you cocksucker? You're usually more talkative. Fuck face. I'm tired. I haven't been sleeping well since Gloria left me. 14. Lucky. Forget about your beauty sleep dipshit. Your name isn't pretty face, it's fuck face. You better not fuck this up. Just keep your mouth shut. Fuck face. I have been practicing silence. Stutter. Lucky good. I vowed for your integrity with the boss. Act 2, Scene 1. Ext. Near the border. The 2 drive further until they reach the border, and they stop, and an agent starts to walk to them. The camera focuses on Lucky, and then the window goes down as the agent comes. Border agent, Spanish-American 30s, 40s, border agent passports. Pauses. Marco Marino. The agent takes the passports. Lucky. That's my legal name. My name is Lucky. Do you have a nickname, officer, that you preferred to be called over your real name? Border agent, Don, fuckface. Are you Don Juan? Jokingly. Border agent. What? Lucky. Sorry about that, he has a low IQ. 15. Border agent. Frankie Vasquez? Fuckface. That's me. Border agent. What brought you gentlemen over to Mexico? Fuckface, a sick nephew. Lucky fuckface. We went to Carlitos' casita. Border agent. Are you calling me fuckface? Lucky, no, officer. That's his nickname. This goes back to his low IQ. Border agent. Please step out of the car, gentlemen. The 2 step out of the car. The agent starts to look around the car. Border agent. Kuntidi. Can you open the trunk? He notices the toys and stuff. Lucky. My son's stuff. Border agent. There is nothing stronger than a father and son bond. Lucky. I lost my father when I was young, so I spoil my kid rotten. The officer hands the passports back. Border agent. You are fine to go. The 2 get back in the car and start driving. There is pause of silence until the 2 get far enough. 16. Lucky fuck face, you almost blew it. If that happens one more time, your face may get a bit more fucked up. Fuck face, goddammit. Lucky, shut the fuck up. Phone call is coming in from Lorenzo. Lorenzo Ricci. Phone. Give me good news. Lucky. We are passing by Arizona. We should arrive at the industrial warehouse in 4 hours. Lorenzo Ricci. Phone. Make a quick drop-off at Alfonso Dry Cleaners before you hit the warehouse. He is waiting for the goodies. Lucky. Phone. Got it. Lorenzo Ricci. See you soon. Act 2, Scene 2. XT. Dessert and dry cleaning store. The camera shows the car driving through the highway and then switches to Alfonso Dry Cleaning. Lucky voiceover. Alfonso Dry Cleaning business was another front for the drug and money laundering for Lorenzo. The good thing was that when the kilos of coke got dropped off, they would go through a process. So if someone was trying to set us up by like the cops, there would be no traces. From the dry cleaners, the drugs would be taken to the strip club right away, where Lorenzo and his crew in the back would bag and measure the coke out into grams for the street. More. 17. Lucky voiceover. Conted. From there, it was distributed out to head capos, who then would sell it to neighborhood drug dealers. While the voiceover is on, the camera shows Lucky dropping off the toys filled with coke to Alfonso. The camera shows scenes of the coke being measured and distributed up among the mafia in the back room of the strip club. The car is approaching the industrial warehouse. Black screen graphics, early evening, Thanksgiving Day, 2009, industrial warehouse. AC2, scene 3. XT, industrial warehouse night. They get out of the car. Lucky notices the wire on Fuckface's shirt. Lucky, let me do the talking. What's up with the two shirts, dickhead? Fuckface. I didn't want the sweat to show through as we pass through the border. It would ruin our cover. Lucky looks down at his chest and notices a wire. He immediately grabs the wire out from Fuckface's shirt. He begins to hit him. Fuckface gets out of the car. Lucky, you fucking piece of shit. He takes out his gun and shoots near him, but not at him. You better get the fuck out of here before I blow your brains out. Lucky walks in, and Lorenzo is there in handcuffs, and there are two FBI agents, Mauricio Rodriguez, male, Hispanic, white, 30s, 40s, FBI agent, works in drug trafficking department, big ego maniac and rude. Dimitri White, male, mixed, black, 30s, 40s, voice of reason. FBI agent, tough exterior, trying to make a name for himself, and was a former gangster in high school. 18. He left the streets behind when he became a cop. Supporting lead role. Mauricio Rodriguez, hands up. Drop all weapons on the ground. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you in the court of law. You have a right to an attorney. In the background, there are sirens and more cops arriving. Dimitri White. You know that character you call Fuckface? Well, he's been bugging you the whole time. We busted him about 3 weeks ago at the casino with blow. Mauricio Rodriguez. Where exactly, Mr. Unlucky, are you dropping the coke off? Who are your contacts? You talk now, and we can cut a deal. Lorenzo Ricci. Officers, there are no rats in my family. Dimitri White. Mr. Ricci, be quiet. Lorenzo Ricci. I want my attorney. The cops from outside come in and start to take Lucky away in handcuffs. Lorenzo Ricci. Conted. Remember, you are like a son. Your word is everything. Dimitri White. Mr. Ricci, you're going to be in the slammer for a long time if you don't shut up. 19. Lucky voiceover. That day was game over, and Hugo Ramirez received a text from my associate Tony, the Tiger, no fiesta. Being handcuffed and questioned at the station was no fucking fiesta, that's for sure. Lucky walks away and looks back at Lorenzo and nods. On the way out, he sees Fuckface talking to Mauricio. Act 2, Scene 4, into police station, Mauricio Rodriguez. Should I call you Lucky or Unlucky? Lucky, I'm one lucky fella. Mauricio Rodriguez. Today was game over. You hang with the wrong crowd. Didn't your father ever tell you, stay away from losers? Lucky. My father was in the slammer for most his life and died when I was 14. Mauricio Rodriguez. Like father, like son. History is about to repeat itself. You can change that. Start talking. Lucky, I want an attorney. Dimitri White. It looks like your boss is going away for a long time. We have him on 7 counts of bank fraud, tax evasion, money laundering, and drug trafficking. Mauricio Rodriguez. Your testimony can help stop the drug cartel and make you a free man. 20. Lucky. I'm not a rat, first and foremost, and I'm not a fugazi. One of your agents stinks. He should clean up his shit better. Mauricio Rodriguez. What the fuck language are you speaking? Rat? Fugazi? Lucky. For someone that chases mobsters, you sure don't know your shit. Dimitri intervenes. Dimitri White Rat is another word for snitch, and Fugazi means fake in Italian, and the stink analogy means there is a dirty cop around us. Mauricio Rodriguez. Thank you for the Mobster 101. Take over, big shot. Mauricio walks out of the room. Dimitri White. Excuse him. He has a big of ego. Lucky, I need to get my ass excused from this bullshit. Dimitri White. Listen up. You will be assigned to a state attorney. Your case will be in 3 weeks to go in front of a judge. There will be no bond because you are a high risk to flee the country. If you change your mind about talking, you can be a free man and leave your past behind. Whispers. Lucky like you did. A real gangster is able to sniff out its own kind. Dimitri White. You have me mistaken with someone else. 21. Lucky you have a gang tattoo on your left arm. You took a plea deal in '87 as a juvie. I know where you live and where you and your son go to breakfast every Friday morning before he heads to school. Dimitri is getting quiet and is starting to look shocked. He gets up, and before he walks out the door, he speaks to Lucky. Dimitri White. I heard enough. I will give you the name of a real good attorney. Act 2, Scene 5 int. Jail meeting with lawyer Lucky voiceover. Rule number 1. You never rat. The moment you rat, your career as a mobster is game over, and your chances of getting whacked are 100% guaranteed. Lucky is meeting with lawyer at jail. There is a clear window separating them during the visit. Lawyer John. Male, Caucasian, 60s, serious, glasses and preppy looking. Lawyer John Marco. The charges you're facing at the moment are drug trafficking, hiding narcotics, illegally importing narcotics, lying to a border agent, and racketeering. This could put you in prison for at least 20 years. We can come to a plea deal if you want to give over names and details. Then I can get you maybe 8 years with parole. Lucky. The name is Lucky, don't forget it. And a big congrats on doing your homework. I did mine too. How about those apples? 22. Lawyer John. What in the God's name are you talking about? Lucky. You have a dirty past of fudging and erasing criminal records. Dimitri White Juvie in '87. There are no traces, and I know you wiped off 2 DUIs off the governor of Nevada, Donovan Leota, and erased his felony for drug possession. Lawyer John. What do you want? Lucky. Well, you won't rat, and I won't rat. Work your yuppie political bullshit so I don't spend more than 2 years in the slammer and can be released by fall of 2011. Lawyer John. I will see what I can do. Act 2, Scene 6:7 and 8 int. Jail and flashback of a scene of crooked cop and fuckface being set up. Lucky voiceover. Most of the time when you go into prison as a head boss, you don't come out alive. Right after the feds nailed us, word spread that the head boss of Brooklyn, Alfredo Greco, was the one that orchestrated the takedown of Lorenzo. His ties to Sin City were related to drug trafficking, and the moment he saw the opportunity to get his hands dirty, he did it. A few weeks ago, before the border trip, Frankie Fuckface fell for a Fugazi drug deal which was set up by Salvatore, the Snake, a head capo of the Greco family, and a crooked fed by the name of Donnie Hayward, who was working from the inside of the bureau to help Alfredo Greco make bigger hits. The bigger the hits in the American Mafia, the bigger the payday. More. 23. Lucky voiceover. Conti. The arrest and murder of Lorenzo was quite the payday for both Salvatore and Donnie. A week later, after being arrested, Lorenzo's throat was slit and he was found face up in his cell. Chaos was spreading in Long Island, and Johnny, the Joker, was up to his wits' end. While the above voiceover is going, the camera is going to show a scene of Frankie the fuckface being set up by the crooked Fed, Donny Hayward, in the picture. The camera then will show a new scene of Lorenzo in the slammer getting killed by another mobster prisoner affiliated with the Greco family. Then the camera is going to show one last scene of Johnny the Joker surrounded by Nicholas Ricci and Bruno Bianchi at Joe's Steakhouse and one other mobster. The camera shows the Joker getting visibly angry. ACT 2, Scene 9 int. Joe's Steakhouse clear screen. Graphics. Long Island boss meeting. The camera shows the outside of the restaurant, and Nicholas Ricci walking inside the restaurant and heading back to where all the mobsters are starting to eat and talk business. Johnny, the Joker, is laughing. Nicholas Ricci, male, Caucasian, 40s, works for the mob and on Wall Street. Lorenzo's nephew, works in finance, upbeat, polite, and is always thinking about business. Northern Italian features, Leo DiCaprio looks. Supporting role, NYC accent preferred but not a must. Johnny the Joker, male, Caucasian, late 50s, head of the mob. He always wears suits and flashy jewelry. He laughs randomly when he is being critical and can come off harsh. He can be quiet for long periods and then out of nowhere, if someone pisses him off, he snaps. Long Island accent preference, husky-looking Italian. Supporting role, Bruno Bianchi, male Caucasian, 50s. Andy Garcia looks, dresses in suit and ties, calculating, smokes cigars, polished-looking. The head capo under Johnny the Joker. Nicholas freezes for a moment and then yells, "Nicholas Ricci, they clipped Lorenzo." I just got word from Lucky. 24, Bruno Bianchi. Those motherfuckers. Johnny the Joker. The moment I find out who did this, they are going to get my famous breakfast dead fellas, a Bloody Mary with extra blood, and my burnt sunny side up. Nicholas Ricci. The Greco crew are behind this. They set Lucky and Lorenzo up the moment they saw Fuckface. A perfect opportunity for Alfredo to expand his enterprise into drug trafficking and oil business. He saw the opportunity to get in with Hugo Ramirez of the Mexican cartel and ran with it. The word is, he is looking to smuggle both oil and blow together. Johnny the Joker. It will be one fucking explosion. Is Fuckface still alive? Nicholas Ricci. He is. Tony got footage of him at the titty bar where he is getting high on dope and fucking whatever stripper that will give him the time of day. Johnny the Joker. His days of pussy are over. Send a hit on him. Have Tony, the tiger, cut off his fingers one by one to see if there are any more rats. Nicholas Ricci. Yes, boss. Johnny the Joker. Tonight, call me Joker. Nicholas Ricci. Okay, Joker. Bruno Bianchi. Sit down and relax. Nick. 25. Nicholas Ricci. I would love to have a drink, but Lisa has dinner waiting, and if I'm too late, well, I won't get dessert. It's been a week since I had any. Bruno Bianchi. You're choosing dessert over drinks with the guys. What's wrong with you? Nicholas Ricci. A man has needs. It's our anniversary dinner. If I don't get home, then I may not get laid for months. Johnny the Joker. Get out of here. Make sure Fuckface is dead by next week, or it's going to cost the Ricci firm a lot of investments. Laughing. As Nick heads out, the Joker shouts Johnny the Joker, Conti. Make sure we know Lucky's next move. Keep an eye on him for now. Nicholas Ricci. Lucky is the last person that would rat. Johnny the Joker. I never said he is a rat. There cannot be any room for error if we plan being the number boss family in America. I won't stop until Angelo Greco is cut up like a bloody piece of meat and stuffed into the freezer. Laughs. Next, on the agenda, is money laundering. Nicholas heads out. Lucky voiceover. Operation Fuck Up was just starting to get heated. 26. Act 2, Scene 10, Int. Court screen graphics, December 18th, 2009. Lucky is in the courtroom with his attorney John. The judge is about to sentence Lucky. Judge, the state of California, finds Marco Marino, the defendant, guilty on charge of drug trafficking, 2 charges of racketeering, 2 charges of carrying firearms without a license. The state of California sentences Marco Marino to 15 years in prison without possibility of parole for 10 years. Lucky turns to his lawyer, John. Lucky, are you kidding me? You're going to be disbarred if you can't reduce my sentence down to 2 years with early parole. My people know about your tax evasion and illegal activities you do for all the crooked cops. Lawyer John, keep it down. I will see what I can do. Lucky, you see this hand? It's going to squeeze your throat so hard you won't ever be able to talk again in court if you don't get me a shorter sentence. Act 2, Scene 9, in Lawyer John's home night. Tony, male, Caucasian, 30-40s, mob associate, known as the Tiger in the mob world, performs the mob's dirty work and will do any dangerous errand. He looks greasy and is ruthless. Supporting. Lucky voiceover. Later that night, Lawyer John got a night visit, and so did Agent Dimitri White. 27. He held the lawyer from the edge of the window. Tony, so Mr. Big Shot Lawyer, are you going to change the verdict for Lucky? Lawyer John, I can see what I can do. Tony begins to push him more over the ledge. Tony, that isn't good enough. Your guts would look real good on the cement. Lawyer John, I will do whatever it takes. Please stop. Gasping for air, I promise. Tony the Tiger pulls him by the neck and pushes him down, once he back inside. Act 2, Scene 10. Int. Dimitri White's home night. Dimitri was just getting a drink in the kitchen, and Tony comes up from behind with a gun. Lucky voiceover. Dimitri's past was about to explode. Tony, if you say or do anything, I will bomb your son's room. I have an automatic mini-bomb I set up if you don't follow my instructions. Listen up. My boy Lucky is serving time for a fugazi. There were no drugs on him when he was arrested, and the real criminal is Alfredo Greco, and a dirty FBI agent that goes by the name Donnie Hayward. You have a week to get Lucky's sentence appealed to a year or less with early parole. I don't care how you do it, but it will get done. 28. Dimitri White. Okay, just turn off that bomb. I will do everything in my power to make it happen. Tony is pointing the gun at him as he is heading out the door. Tony, by the way, there is no bomb this time, laughs, but I do have you recorded agreeing to commit a federal crime. I don't think Judge Judy would like this. You have a week, otherwise it's going to get explosive around here. He runs out the door, and the camera just focuses on the serious look of Dimitri. Act 2, Scene 11 int. FBI Office Day screen. Graphics, FBI Office NYC. 2 days later, Jack Jones, male, Caucasian, 60s, head of the FBI, focuses on the American Mafia. Traditional, takes his job seriously and is an expert. He is sarcastic and a father figure. Lead role, Henry Sullivan, male, Caucasian, 30s, 40E, FBI agent, Caucasian Irish, Ava Marie's boyfriend, co-worker, masculine, typical Irish guy, dominant boyfriend, and controlling. Supporting. The scene opens up with all 3 agents talking. Jack Jones. Dimitri, I reviewed all the charges and evidence pertaining to Marco Marino's case. If he is willing to come on board as an informant, we can cut him a plea deal and he can be out as early as next Thanksgiving on good behavior. Henry Sullivan. And what do you propose he go undercover for? 29. Jack Jones. I would like to put that character, Johnny the Joker, away for good and crack down on their drug ring with Hugo Ramirez. Dimitri White. Well, just don't bring up the cartel right away. Jack Jones? Why? You scared? Dimitri White. That's an understatement. Let's keep the focus on Johnny the Joker, and then once we have an angle in, we then focus on the drug cartel. Henry Sullivan Dimitri, you're just a low-life cop from Las Vegas. You have no say how we will plan the Joker operation. Just thank this lucky character for putting you on the biggest case in over 20 years when it comes to taking down America's largest crime family. Jack Jones, I will put in a motion right away to the judge on Lucky's case for a sentence reduction as part of a plea deal with the USA government for substantial evidence. Jack walks out of the office. Henry Sullivan. Dimitri, hopefully a low-life cop like yourself learned something today. Dimitri White. Yes, I learned that white men like you are the reason hard-working, honest black men can't be appointed to FBI positions. Henry Sullivan. You know what? I'll make you a deal, Dimitri, just to prove you're wrong. More. 30. Henry Sullivan. Contady. When Lucky gets released, I will tell Jack to request you personally, so you're on the case. Then there are no excuses and whining. Just shoot your shot. Act 3, Scene 1. Int. Dry cleaners and strip club. Cocaine distribution. Lucky voiceover. No one from Johnny's crew knew when I was set to be released. The only one who knew I would get out at the end of the year was Tony, the Tiger, my right-hand guy. He wasn't the nosy type. He didn't ask questions. He just took over where I left off. He kept business steady by smuggling around $200,000 worth of blow every month from the Mexico border to Las Vegas. I was keeping tabs on operations from the slammer. Things slowed down a bit since Lorenzo and I weren't able to be hands-on with the drug trafficking, but Tony hired a few Mexicans to keep business steady. Meanwhile, I was keeping busy in prison, minding my business, studying Spanish, cybersecurity, and coding to take my criminal skills to a higher level upon release. While the above voiceover is on the camera, shows scenes of Tony the Tiger running the drug trafficking and Lucky talking to him from prison. It also shows Lucky studying cybersecurity. ACT 3, Scene 2 and 3, Inti. Church Ava, at church and school. Cooking with family, Lucky voiceover. Then there was Ava Marie, my so-called fiancée, the most unlikely broad that I would ever go for. She grew up on the different side of the tracks. She supposedly was part Irish, whereas I was full-blooded Italian. More. 31. Lucky voiceover. Contady. She went to church and made confessions, and I went to strip clubs and picked up broads. She volunteered, and I extorted money. Ava's life was night and day from mine. It was so different that she followed into the footsteps of her adopted father and became an FBI agent. Camera shows her going to church, attending school, and cooking with family. Act 3, Scene 4 Int. O'Brien, Family Home Night, Clear Screen Graphics. December 2010. Christmas Eve, 1 week before the prison release. Ava Marie is with Henry, her boyfriend, her dad, her mom, her sister, and her sister's boyfriend Patrick. There is a Christmas tree and Christmas music in the background. They are starting to exchange presents. Ava Marie, female Caucasian, 30s, long blonde hair, adopted by Detective Edward O'Brien after her mother died of a murder. She is not a typical FBI agent. Soft-spoken at first, innocent, naive, and funny. As she lets her guard down, she begins to take on the mobster girlfriend, Gina Marie. She becomes more flashier and begins to connect with mafia culture. Lead role. This role is for screenwriter Michelle Lynn, non-negotiable. Mary, female, Caucasian, 60s, Ava's adopted mom. Blonde features 60s, conservative, nice, and typical cop's wife. Jenna, female, Caucasian, 30s, Ava's sister by adoption, nurse, bubbly, all-American, looks late 30s. not as wholesome, and is jealous of Ava. Patrick, 30s, owns a motorcycle shop and is in a band and plays the guitar. He has a wild edge, carefree, and is opposite of Ava's adopted dad, Edward. The Christmas music is playing. Mary is handing out glasses filled with champagne. Detective Edward O'Brien. I want to make a toast to Ava Marie. Her unwavering dedication and hard work towards becoming an FBI agent has paid off. Cheers. 32. Everyone cheers. Henry grabs Ava Marie and kisses her. Henry Sullivan. Stay right there. He goes to the kitchen and then grabs a cake with candle. He lights it and then takes out a box with a ring in it. Ava Marie. What's going on? Henry Sullivan. Ava Marie, you had me at hello when you walked through my agent training class 2 years ago. I can't imagine another day calling you my girlfriend. I want this to be forever and make you my wife. Will you, Ava Marie, give me the honor in making you Mrs. Sullivan? Mary. Say yes, Ava Marie. Oh my God, yes. It's beautiful. Jenna, look at that sparkler. You did good, Henry. Patrick, you have big shoes to fill. Patrick, not again. Jenna, just saying I have biological clock. Patty. Jenna, let up. It's about Ava Marie tonight. Jenna, it's been like that since she came home from Brooklyn. It's never about me. 33. Ava Marie. Voiceover. For some reason, I never got the sisterly bond right. Ava is starting to feel uncomfortable. Detective Edward O'Brien. Are you okay, Ava Marie? I'm fine. I don't think Henry needs to know about Brooklyn. Henry Sullivan. Baby, you can tell me anything. Ava Marie. It's not important. I don't want to ruin the moment. Mary. Henry, everything is great. I can just see the wedding now in Ireland next summer. You and Ava Marie need to make it official and kiss under the mistletoe. The two kiss. Detective Edward O'Brien. Beautiful ring. Well done, Sullivan. She doesn't need to wear that rock around the bureau and attract attention. Henry Sullivan. She has the perfect first assignment to wear the ring to. She is going to be paired as undercover with that flashy goon Lucky from the Long Island crime family. Ava Marie voiceover. The girl next door was about to go out the door the moment I got paired with Lucky. Ava Marie Lucky. 34. Detective Edward O'Brien. His real name is Marco Marino. His nickname in the American Mafia is Lucky. You will learn, as you get more into the field, a lot of these mobsters have nicknames. Ava Marie. I'm never going to have a nickname. That would tarnish my image. Jenna, here you go again about your image. You walk around like you have a chastity belt, but we know that's not the case. You're no Virgin Mary. Mary Patrick, take Jenna into the other room. She is getting into one of her moods. Detective Edward O'Brien. Jack Jones will go over the assignment after the holidays. The Bureau policy is never to discuss details with outsiders. Henry nods. Henry Sullivan Ava Marie. The only nickname you have is Sugar Plum and Angel. Ava Marie. Thanks, babe. The only nickname you have is My Heart. The camera shows them looking into each other's eyes. Ava voiceover. Soon enough, my heart would be going in all directions. It was a matter of days until I became Lucky's fiancée, Gina Marie. Act 3, Scene 5, Inti, NYC Bureau. Day Screen Graphics, Jan 7, 2011. Release day at NYC Bureau. Agent Jack Jones, Dimitri White, Lucky, and Henry Sullivan are discussing the operation Johnny the Joker. 35. Jack Jones. It's your lucky day, Lucky. All I need from you is a signature on this document, agreeing to provide the U.S. government substantial evidence as part of a plea deal to be an informant for the FBI on Operation Johnny the Joker. Lucky voiceover. For the first time, I felt like I was the Fugazi by signing that line. I did what I had to do. but part of me felt like my soul was dying. The camera shows Lucky looking at the document and signing it. Lucky, officer. Here you go, Jack Jones. Please call me my cover name, Giuseppe Gallucci. I'm your father-in-law to be. You are going to be undercover with me and new agent Ava Marie, who will be your fiancée, and you will refer to her as Gina Marie. The story goes like this. You met her on a quick trip to Italy after being released from the slammer. She was on vacation in Italy with her father, who is me, sightseeing. You went to the Vatican and noticed her outside, and it was love at first sight. Lucky. No fucking way. Johnny the Joker is not going to eat up that bullshit. He is going to spit it out like yesterday's trash, and the operation will be dust in the wind. The story goes like this. I met Gina Marie at the strip club, and it was love at first sight. Her round ass, juicy lips took me to heaven and back. 36. Henry Sullivan. You better watch your mouth because that fake fiancé of yours is actually my real-life fiancé. I will be watching both of you around the clock with surveillance. This is a warning to be on your best behavior. Lucky capiche? Henry Sullivan. Enough of this capiche.